What's going on, guys? So my name is Justin Florio and I am the owner of Patience and Consistency. We are a personal training studio located in New Jersey. We focus on private training, we offer small group classes, and then we've also ventured off into the online world, just like every personal trainer has at this point. When I started in the fitness industry, I had no idea really where it was going to take me, but I just want to go over a few steps on what I did in my journey to get to this position of owning my own studio. Some of the lessons I learned, and what I believe are the 5 key factors, the 5 key steps in order to open up your own studio. When I went to school, I went to William Patterson, which is a university, and I studied exercise physiology, and I fell in love with personal training. And my initial thought was, okay, let me get into it while I was working in physical therapy as an aide to kind of get my foot in the door and see what in the health industry I enjoyed the most. So I started off at physical therapy and I really loved it. It was a little too slow for me. So at the same time, I was also training in a commercial gym. So this is step number 1. If you are not in the fitness industry yet and you're watching this video and you're trying to figure out how to get into it, number 1 step is you have to go, some people would say go to a smaller gym. I'm going to say go to a large commercial gym. Find the biggest commercial gym that's in your area, go into that door, go to the front desk, get an application, fill it out, and go try to get a training job at one of those larger facilities. And why do I say that? Because you're going to network there. You're going to meet people. When you go into that facility and you finally get that position, they're going to ask you if you're certified. If you're not certified, they're going to tell you what certification you should get. Some gyms require ACE, which is what I got. Some require NASM, some prefer ACSM, and then if you're going into more of the sports industry, they're going to request more of like a CSCS, which requires a college degree. Go into a commercial gym, get that position, and work the floor. Work as many hours as you possibly can. If you're working another job, maybe you have another career, then just work 4 hours on the floor. And you don't have to do anything crazy. All you have to do is start talking to members. Start talking to members, start building a relationship with these people, because those relationships will take you through the rest of your career. It might not seem like it might seem like something so small, but when you're talking to those people, when you engage in conversation, when you leave them, what you're going to do is you're going to go on your phone, you're going to go to notes, write down their name, always try to figure out a way to remember someone's name, and then just write down 2 small things about them. Maybe they have a kid in college, maybe they're looking for a certain goal, they're trying to get a certain goal. In a week from then, go up to them and say, hey, how's your daughter? Or maybe a month from then, say, how's your daughter doing in college? Did you achieve your goal? And then you can kind of build from there. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, this is where you're starting to build that clientele. You want to start going around, you want to build those relationships, and then eventually you do need to start getting people to train with you, because when you're on the floor and you have individuals working with you, what happens is, depending on the layout of the gym, what I had, there were all treadmills and people would be doing cardio, and I'd be working with my clients and I'd be doing certain things, and then at the end of a session, maybe someone that I had recently talked to or someone who I haven't been able to talk to would come up to me and they say, hey, I really liked what you did. What was that working with that client? And I'd say, oh, maybe we're doing dead bugs. We just need to work on more core stabilization. So I'll show them a bunch of different variations. And again, just like I said, building those relationships, you're not selling anything to that person, you're just teaching them something. And then maybe a month from now, they come back to you and they say, hey, I really like that exercise. Do you mind if we set up a session and you can show me more of what you know? It might not even happen within that commercial gym, but like we're talking about now is trying to create those steps in order to create a long-term, sustainable personal training studio. So now that you have your certification, you have the hours down on the floor, you're starting to get that one-on-one experience. From there, now you have to start envisioning your long-term goal. Do you want to have a personal training studio? That's the number 1 question I ask everyone. Because being an owner of a studio is so much more than just training people. When I was working at a smaller gym and I was working in the New York Sports Club, which was my commercial gym, I was able to just solely focus on my clients and focus on their training and their programming. When you open up a facility, you become an entrepreneur. You have a lot more overhead with utilities and maintaining equipment, keeping the place clean, and there's no boss coming in to tell you, hey, you have to do this right now, right? So there becomes a little bit more effort on your end, and you have to be willing to put in that sacrifice. And with clients, especially when you own your own facility, you almost have to put them ahead of you because you want to make sure that they're happy and they're always coming back. So that's step number 3. You want to make sure that you want to open up a studio, and then obviously because you're watching this video, you want to make that next step. So what do? You start to envision your brand. You want to start thinking about, okay, what is my company going to be? What is my name going to be? Maybe I use patience and consistency because when I first started working out, I remember looking in the mirror and saying to myself, this isn't going to happen overnight. I was working out at a gym with a lot of big bodybuilder guys, and I wanted those muscles, but I had to tell myself, take a step back, don't take the cheat code, patience and consistency. And those are the 2 words that I have lived by for almost 14 years now, especially when it comes to the fitness industry. And then obviously I have 2 kids at home, so the word patience, we're pushing it sometimes. But you want to think about your logo. You want to start to get all that stuff down because you don't want to open up a studio and then have to worry about that. So while you're still training at the larger commercial gym, you start thinking about these things. You start writing down. You want to create a business plan. Do you want to hire a bunch of trainers? Do you want to just have a small studio and just be yourself? That is what I did. I don't have any overhead with any other trainers. It is just me, a little less overhead, and it's a little less overwhelming. From there, number 4, what I would highly suggest, what I did was I lived in a little apartment with my wife, and I started to go, at this time it was Craigslist, and I went around and I just started to collect a little bit of equipment here and there. Some dumbbells, some kettlebells, some plyo boxes. I grabbed an Airdyne. And what that's going to do is it's just that stepping stone so that when we get to step number 5, you're already ready. You already have your logo, you have clientele, you have some equipment, the basics. Buy some resistance bands, just some of the most basic things that you can, so that this way, when you find that facility, you can just get right in there. And then that leads me to number 5. Number 5, what I did, when I left the commercial gym, I ventured off on my own and I started training people home to home, which is why I had all the equipment in the back of my car, which is the main reason why I started collecting the equipment, not knowing that I was going to find a facility. But I was driving to a client's house and I passed this facility and there was a huge sign on it that said for rent. So I wrote down the number, pulled into the parking lot in a few minutes, checked it out, and like step number 3, I envisioned what I wanted and I called that number. But the most important thing when it comes to finding a space, and I'm going to touch base more on this with more videos, you want to make sure that you have a space that is suitable for you, and you want to grow into your space. You don't have to go crazy, don't go in debt in the beginning. Make sure that you're able to afford it. Make sure that it has good traffic. The last thing you want to do is be spending a lot of money on traffic or advertising. I'm very lucky, I'm on a main highway, so I put my sign up with a big phone number, and that is how I get my advertising. People ask me all the time, what do you do for marketing? I'm on a main highway, and people come to me all the time. I'm very lucky. That alone, thank you Gunnar Peterson for telling me this, parking is so important. The last thing you want is for your client to pull in maybe like 2-3 minutes late because of external factors. You know, maybe their kid was running late, and now they're trying to find a parking spot. Make it easy, convenient, comfortable. They just pull into a parking spot, they walk in, and they know that it's just them. So this way it just takes a little less stress off of them because exercise is already less stress. So again, the 5 things that I would highly suggest you do if you are trying to get into the entrepreneurship of owning a personal training studio. Number 1, get into a commercial gym and just start to build a relationship. Number 2, build a clientele base, a good clientele, and it doesn't have to be a niche. Work with everyone so you can get your foot in the door and just see what you enjoy working with. Number 3, envision what you want. What is your logo? What are you going to do? Create a business plan. Number 4, start collecting some equipment. And then number 5, find that location and build into the location. Don't go big in the beginning. Start small, build into it, and attack. I hope this video helps. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. Please subscribe. subscribe because that really helps. Have an awesome day, and I will see you guys next time.